Hello guys, I'm here and in the Arsenal Media Lounge. I've just been in Unai Emery's inaugural press conference, and I have to say I'm coming away feeling really impressed by this guy. I think the first thing to say is that he attempted to do the vast majority of the press conference in English. There'd been some talk about his English not being great. Look, it's not great, but it's better than my Spanish. It's better than your Spanish, I suspect. It's probably better than Antonio Conte's English, and he seems to have coped fine. He he really did cope admirably. He used the translator for some questions to understand the questions of the journalists, but would then try and answer in English. I just think you can't underestimate how difficult that is in such a high pressure scenario to speak in a language that you're unfamiliar with, that you haven't been using regularly. I think it shows real confidence. I think it shows real balls, to be honest with you. And I like that. I like that it showed some willing to communicate directly with the press. I think crucially to communicate directly with the fans as well. I'm sure that was in his mind. This sense that I want the fans to be able to hear me speak in English to convey my ideas. And I think we did get a sense of his ideas. So I thought that was terrific in itself. What did we learn from him? Well, we learned that he spoke a bit about his footballing philosophy. I mean, this was very exciting because he talked about being a protagonist, being the team that controls possession. But he also talked about pressing. He talked about very, very intense pressing. And I'm sure I can't have been the only Arsenal fan who kind of had a hallelujah moment then, because we've been so passive, particularly without the ball. So to see him talk about the importance of pressing, because we do have players who can do it or who could do it. When you look at people like Aubameyang, Lacazette, Aaron Ramsey, if you imagine them in a functional, organised pressing system, it's quite exciting. Quite what that means for someone like Mesut Ozil. Who knows? Maybe he will be able to coax that out of Ozil. Have to hope so at any rate. Beyond that, what did we hear? We heard Ivan Gazidis, who was there, talking about the process of the appointment. He spoke about a long list of 8 candidates. I don't know how he's got to 8. I mean, I can't. Right, let's try it. Emery, Arteta, Allegri, Vieira, Brendan Rodgers. I don't know, maybe. Jardine. That's 6. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Thierry Henry. I mean, I don't know how they're making up the 8. Who's getting an interview for that? I mean, I'm surprised I wasn't asked. Anyway, 8 candidates. They were all interviewed. None of them turned the job down, apparently. And the club ultimately decided to go for Emery. Interestingly, his interview did appear to be one of the last in that process. One wonders why. Is it that, as we've read elsewhere, an intermediary, an agent, suggested him to Arsenal? Alternatively, is it to do with the end of Paris Saint-Germain's season, or his obligations to Paris Saint-Germain? Maybe he wanted to wait that out before looking at new opportunities. I don't know. Either way, he appears to have been the man that Gazidis, Sven and Raul selected. It was a 3-man committee. The chief executive, the head of football relations and the head of recruitment all decided on this guy together. It was a unanimous decision apparently, and they presented him to the board and to Stan and Josh in America, and they flew out earlier this week to spend some time with Josh Kroenke. Clearly, Josh is an increasingly influential figure at this club. What else to say about Emery? I suppose just how competent and confident he seemed. And I do think the more I think about this appointment, the more I think it is the right thing that Arsenal have appointed an experienced manager. Someone who could walk into that scenario without the added complication of it being the first time he's in that situation. He's already been unveiled as the manager of Paris Saint-Germain, the biggest club in France. He knows how to handle that. And you could see that, and you could feel it. There was a confidence about him. I wouldn't go as far as to say a swagger, but he was very composed in that setting. And he's not a fool. He's been reading the reports in the media. He knows that Arsenal fans were largely expecting Mikel Arteta to get the job. Gazidis even alluded to that himself, saying that this was potentially something of a surprise appointment. But I think given that, Emery gave a really stellar performance. Anyway, I've written about it for Arseblog. So hopefully that piece will be out in the next couple of hours. Keep an eye out for that. And don't forget to check out my other video earlier today talking about my first reaction to the Emery appointment itself. Cheers guys, speak to you soon.